Good morning, good afternoon. Welcome to Becoming Awesome. This is episode one. We're excited to have you. My name is Ray Thomas. I am a senior sourcing recruiter within our talent acquisition org. Really excited to have you here. And I'm here with my co-host Jenna Lass and Kevin Boren, and our two special guests, Rupesh Mishra and Blake Beltrame from our federal nonprofit health org. Really excited to have you all. So let's start off with just basic introductions and how we got here. So Jenna, why don't you go first?
Yeah, sure. Well, I am just very excited to be back here with you, Ray, on our evolved platform and our new branding. So I'll have to catch some of the viewers up. Hi, everybody. I am Jenna. I'm in New York, and I am a full life cycle recruiter for AWS's worldwide public sector's expanding businesses. And when I think of this show, most viewers are logging in to geek out on technology. So I think I just want to acknowledge that this show is a little bit different because it stars the humans of technology. So Ray and I are going to be geeking out on people that geek out on technology. And we titled it Becoming Awesome because we hope that you'll find we have some awesome guests who are employees at AWS, but also that this place is a journey, and it's a journey of reflecting and learning and growing. And so while I can say that the show has some awesome humans, they too are becoming more awesome with time. So we piloted the show on LinkedIn as Awesome Recruiter Friends Take 5 with recordings of chats to virtualize hallway chats. And we're just thrilled to be here to offer 30 minutes of live unscripted chats with the ability to do Q&A. So we need you viewers, please, to chime in with your questions. Back to you, Ray. Intro our guests.
Kevin, how about you introduce yourself as our chat mod?
Yes, how you doing? My name is Kevin Burr, and I'm a sourcing recruiter for Worldwide Public Sector, actually on Ray and Jenna's team. Excited to be here to kind of help you answer any questions behind the scenes and, kind of facilitate the live Q&A towards the end. So feel free to submit any questions you may have. I'll gather them, and we'll be sure to answer as many as we can. And I will be posting the email address and how you can get in contact and everything towards the end as well.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Kevin. Kevin's gonna pop off a video for now. He'll be monitoring the chat, and then we'll have him come back on towards the Q&A. So with that said, we have two special guests again, Rupesh and Blake. Rupesh, why don't we start off with you? Why don't you give us a quick intro?
Sure. Hi, everyone. First of all, thank you for having me here. I'm Rupesh Mishra, a solutions architect here at AWS. This is my first year at AWS, and it's been going great so far. Prior to joining AWS, I've worked in the healthcare industry in both clinical and technical roles for the last 12 to 13 years. So happy to be here and share my experiences and answering the questions that you may have.
Excellent. Thanks, Rupesh. And Blake?
Good morning and good afternoon. Blake Beltrame here, and regardless of what it looks like, I promise I'm not a boxer. I'm a strategic account executive on the nonprofit health team, partnering with talented folks like Rupesh to oversee our relationship with 6 health systems up and down the West Coast. Prior to my time at AWS, I've been here for about a year now. I've actually been in the industry in healthcare for 15 prior to that, just partnering with customers, overseeing their roadmap and trying to help them envision the possible.
Excellent. Well,
is this the first time you're meeting each other, or you've met before?
No, we've actually worked together on an issue with a customer. It was pretty cool. It was one of those items where the executive told me there was a challenge and brought Rupesh and the talented team together, and we were able to solve it for him within a month.
Oh, I was wondering if Rupesh was responsible for the eye.
Oh.
No. All right.
Oh, I'll tell you that story real quick, Jenna, since you brought it up.
Yeah, let's address it.
Yeah, I was just moving items in a storage unit last week, and a kayak fell on my face. So I was just trying to do too much in a hurry, and that was what the result was. So.
Oh, well, I was hoping more like you were fighting off a bear, but
I wish it was smarter than that.
Awesome. Jenna,
All
you
right.
have the
Well,
twin costs.
yeah. So, this show, our value proposition to you viewers is to get to know these people both personally and professionally. Ray and I don't know which way to go first. Do we talk about personal? Do we talk about professional? You get it all in. We just don't know the order. And so we figured we'd leave it up to chance, chance being a coin toss. So I have a coin. Do any of you guys have a coin? I'd rather have you use a coin. Do you have a coin? Anyone have a coin?
I do have a coin.
You have a coin, Rupesh? Okay, great. So let's do heads. We go professional questions first. Tails, we go personal first. And you're going to show us that coin, so you can't manipulate it.
So this is a quarter. So on this side is the heads,
Okay.
and this side is the tails.
All
And
right.
this is the coin that I'm going to be using for the flip, not the other one with the same faces on both.
Excellent. Flip away.
And we got heads.
We got heads.
All right.
Okay.
All right. So start with some of the professional questions then first. Tell us a little bit about your career journey. What inspired you to go in this direction?
I can go, So I started as a clinical lab scientist in the lab in 2009. And I was primarily responsible for performing diagnostic testing and reporting results to physicians that would then use it to treat patients and diagnose diseases. While I was working in the lab, I was a project lead for implementing a point of care system that was supposed to reduce the turnaround time of critical clinical results that would, help with the patient experience as well as elevate the clinical experience. And as an outcome of that project, we were able to implement the system that then reduced the turnaround time for some of these critical results by quite a bit. And this resulted in us having increased patient satisfaction scores, as well as develop the interdepartmental relationships between many of the departments that work together with the lab, like radiology and emergency department, as well as the ICU. What it got me into was, the technical aspects of that implementation as to how we achieved it, and then, supporting the clinical use cases. And that's really how I dived into the IT side of things, where I decided to pursue a degree in it. And then ever since then, I have been, involved in implementing systems, software systems, as well as infrastructure solutions that provide that kind of a experience for our patients as well as our clinicians. And with my mindset of learning new technologies coming from a clinical background, have really challenged myself to understand the trends that are happening in the healthcare industry, and how technology can help support some of the challenges that the healthcare industry is facing. And I'm super excited to be a part of AWS, where we are focused on developing solutions that are meeting some of the challenges for the customers, as well as working with a very talented team of individuals within our organization, as well as with the partners that we have in being able to deliver for our customers.
That's so cool. I'm so happy you found the intersection of your passions in your career. That's wonderful. Thank you for sharing. How about you, Blake? Can you give us a little feel for your career journey?
Absolutely. I was lucky enough at a very young age to realize that my purpose on life is to try to help others. And I went through a really great career and actually spent some time in Australia. Spent the vast majority of my career living here in California, working with health systems, state governments, other nonprofit organizations. I got to a point where I just wanted to do things on a larger scale. And I really couldn't imagine an opportunity to do anything on a bigger scale than actually working with the AWS team. Since joining the team, I've been able to partner with folks like Rupesh, the clinicians that we have on the team, and many people from many diverse backgrounds for one purpose, and that purpose is just to try to make the lives easier of the clinicians that care for us in our communities. So it's been really fun, and I'm really excited to see what happens here going forward.
Amazing. And I want to ask you, I'll go back to you, Blake, and then we'll go to you, Rupesh. But what do you find to be the hardest part of your job right now?
Yeah. That's a great question. I guess the hardest part for me is just kind of knowing what to focus on and when to focus on it. There's so much opportunity, and there's just the vastness of services that we have to be able to help our customers. Really trying to sit down every day. I make my list of items that I want to get done with before I get going. By about 9:30, I'm on to a task that I didn't even anticipate. But really trying to just know where to concentrate on and how to bring the most value to our customers is probably what I struggle with the most.
Gotcha. And Rupesh, what's the hardest job for you? Hardest part of your job? Yeah.
I think the hardest part of my job is to understand the limits that I have with time. Like Blake mentioned, AWS offers so many services that support so many different use cases in so many different industries. And I want to be able to learn many different things, but I also want to be able to focus on the things that help customers derive, value, and being able to focus on those specific things without going into tangents that probably wouldn't be as beneficial in some ways is probably going to be the hardest thing that I find often in my job at this time.
So what's the best piece of advice or tips that you both may have for anyone that either finds themselves in that situation outside of AWS or is interested in joining AWS?
I can go. So, I think one of the things that I was recently reading a book called Atomic Habits. And one of the things that I learned from that book was that, it's important for us to have goals that we want to be able to achieve. But more importantly, it is important for us to have systems that allow us to achieve those goals. And I think, having that learning mindset and being curious is great. And we also want to have goals that allow us to focus on things that we want to learn. And we want to be able to implement the systems in place that allow us to learn those goals. But that really starts from starting small, developing those key good habits that allow us to learn that 1% every day to, then be 365 times better in a year, I think is key, I think, in being successful.
I've heard really good things about that book, so it's nice to hear from you too.
And Blake, what's your career advice?
I love what Rupesh said there about the thinking in systems. That's a great point. I'd say one of the best pieces of career advice I got was, again, something that happened when I was growing up. My dad told me, no one really cares what you know till they know that you care. And the really cool thing about that is it really ties very well in AWS to our customer obsession principle. So just trying to spend as much time as possible really understanding, those folks that are on the other side of the table from me. Well, what is really important to them and why is it important? And then being able to take that back to the talented team we have to go ahead and try to create solutions. I found that to be an approach that folks really respond well to.
Excellent. So let's switch it up a little bit. I think one of the things that we want to showcase is like we're all humans, right? I think that's the whole thing of why we decided to do this, is to show that we're just everyday normal human beings, and we have life outside of work, and it's really, really interesting where you can just talk to anyone in an office hallway and say, hey, what do you do? And then once you get to learn a little bit more about them personally, you're like kind of blown away with some fascinating details about their lives, and you end up making this other connection. And I can say personally, I've met so many amazing people just by saying hello to them, right? And then getting to learn more about them. And I think it's good to show the type of people that we have here, not just from the professional standpoint, but also just who they are naturally, just who they would work with, etc. So with that said, let's do something a little fun. Rupesh, pick a number between 1 and 13.
Wait, does Rupesh know why he's picking a number?
Nope. Or maybe he does. No, this is just rapid fire questions, fun questions we have lined up.
Oh, we have 13 rapid fire questions.
Yeah,
Yes.
but you're going to pick one of them for now.
I'll pick 6.
Number 6. All right. If you could be famous for something, what would it be?
I would be a writer. I would probably write on my. I'll probably start initially by writing on my experiences. I came here as an international student to the United States from Nepal, and I was here by myself. Went graduated, with several degrees, have worked in different industries. But along my way, I have came to meet really interesting people from various countries. I love trying out different kinds of food. And so I just wanted to write something about sharing my experiences that may help other international students who might want to travel the world and, gain those experiences to see, if they would correlate in some ways.
Excellent. Excellent. Blake.
Blake, are you going to go with the same number or are you going to mix it up?
Might as well go lucky number 13.
All right, I'll read that one off. Let's see what we got. Best movie you saw this year, and it's a short year, so why don't we include 2021 as well?
That's great. I'm blanking on the name of it. I actually just watched the one on Netflix that's it's originally in German, and it's the World War II movie. What in the world was the name of that one? Did you guys know what I'm talking about? It was pretty amazing. I think it just won some awards too. But obviously it wasn't good enough for me to remember. Oh, All Is Quiet on the Western Front. That was the name of it. It was actually a pretty awesome movie. Just the cinematography in that really blew me away. So
incredible. I like. I'm actually obsessed with war movies for two reasons. Like I like to see both sides of humanity just so I can have like a level head. You can see. I believe in learning from the past. You look at some of the things and how can you change yourself, or how can you help build something or build or bring about an idea that can move the next generation forward in a more positive light, and just learn from those mistakes and seeing the atrocities that happened back then. I think that itself also shocked me to my core as a kid when we're reading about this in middle school, etc. It actually, for me personally, helped build more empathy. That's not the world I want my daughter to grow up in, and those are not the things I will ever teach. But if there's ever someone in need of help like that, what are your options? What are some of the best things you can do at that moment? And that's kind of what I want to teach my family. But then again, from a technical geek standpoint, looking at the planes we had back then versus the planes we have now, I love the whole aviation industry, and seeing the advancement, it's pretty phenomenal. So that's
guess what? We have some questions coming from the chat.
Yeah, and we'll get to that. We definitely will. We'll definitely get to that because I see there's some really good questions, and I really want to spend a good amount of time on them, and I want we're gonna jump into that in a minute. I think I want to just get to know Rupesh and Blake a little bit more, and then maybe from that we have even more questions coming in that they can relate to, and we'll have the right person to jump in and try to answer those. So Rupesh, pick another number quickly, and we'll get to these really quick. These are rapid fire.
I'll do 8.
Number 8. Do you have a theme song that inspires you or helps you connect to your better self?
I'll probably select "Lose Yourself" by Eminem.
Oh,
oh wow! I didn't even have to think about that. It just suddenly came to me, and I felt like dancing for you, Rupesh.
Amazing. And Blake, let's
go. I'll go number 1.
Pretend you won $5 million. What is the first thing you would buy?
Oh, it's probably pretty boring here, but my wife and I are searching for a house, so it'd be a place that's pretty close to the water where I could just get up in the morning and run down to the beach. I think that'd be pretty awesome. So
you're gonna need the whole $5 million for that.
Outside too. Keep it outside.
Yeah, I need a new place to store the canoe where I don't have to stand it up. So
amazing. Yeah, so we definitely want to have the last 8 to 9 minutes for some Q&A, and as Jenna mentioned, there's some questions coming in. Kevin, why don't you, if you don't mind, share one of the questions, and we'll see who on the panel wants to take it.
Yeah, sure thing. Well, the first one's going to put Rupesh a little bit on the spot. So I'm going to ask, how would you advise entry-level candidates, specifically the ones that are having difficulty getting the entry-level jobs? How would you advise them in kind of taking that track to getting a job here?
So I think As a solutions architect, it is important to have the foundations of infrastructure, as well as like other technical areas down. So in that aspect, being able to learn, let's say, the fundamentals of computing around networking, compute, databases, storage, things of those nature would, definitely be a good starting point. And then being able to prepare yourself to be able to answer questions that pertain to those areas, and then also being able to have like a approach where you can think about how you can create a holistic solution using all of these different components of the architecture, and then being able to dive deep into the questions that would come with that probably would be a good entry point for entry-level candidates to get a role as a solutions architect.
Great. I love that answer. Another question. This one's for you, Blake. Would you mind sharing an example of how you demonstrated the customer obsession you had spoke about?
That's a great point, and I think it's always an opportunity for improvement for everyone, including myself. But just the story that we were talking about a bit before about Rupesh and I and what we had worked on, we had a customer come to us and say they had a challenge, a technical challenge that wasn't allowing them to send notifications for virtual visits and appointments. They came to us. They stated this was a problem that they were seeking. I was able to pull together Rupesh and the right folks in our network to go ahead and mock up what a solution might be for that. The customer said, "Hey, this is great. Is this something that we could go ahead and move forward with?" And luckily for me, that the team demonstrated some customer obsession there and has actually put together a prototype for them in a matter of a day. So just the ability, just to the willingness to understand, this is actually impacting people's patient care. There were no shows that were apportioned because folks weren't even getting the notifications that their appointment was happening before the actual appointment was coming in after it had happened. And it was just amazing just to see the team come together like that and be able to help, this customer who was, of course, able to help their community.
That's incredible. All right, now this one's actually for both of you, since seeing that you both have similar tenure at Amazon. One, what is the one thing that shocked you about the company in the first few months of onboarding? And then two, what are you looking forward to in the next year in what you're looking to accomplish?
Do you want to go, Rupesh, or would you like me to?
Go ahead.
Okay. And I hate it if I sound like a broken record here, but when I was first starting and first going through onboarding, the leadership principles, they really drill into you, and it's just amazing. And I actually asked my onboarding buddy, I was like, this customer obsession thing, this seems pretty real. And he told me, he's like, absolutely. He said, if you ever find anything in this company that's not focused on the customer, then you write a paper about it and you try to change it, because that's what we do here. And I was just blown away that was the culture, and I thought that was just an amazing piece to be a part of. In terms of the next year, there's some additional certifications that I want to get. I did get my CPC, which everybody I think at AWS needs to get, but I want to learn a little bit more about the technical challenges that Rupesh and the team are able to address for our customers. I feel like just having that background information is really going to help. As they tell me some of their challenges, to be able to pull on the right resources appropriately and hopefully increase that speed to value for our customer base.
Great. How about you, Rupesh?
The thing that I found shocking initially was the amount of information that was available to employees to be able to learn and dive deeper into the topics of interest to them. Also shocking to me was the way the different teams interacted, in, let's say, in technical terms, with like a low degree of coupling and a high degree of cohesion, where all of us were able to work together in some ways to teach each other or learn from each other and help whenever there was a gap identified. And that was also shocking to me, seeing the size of the organization and the teams, but everybody is eager to help you and jump in wherever they can. So that was also very shocking to me initially. And as far as things that I want to accomplish for next year, I also have some certifications that I would like to attain. But I also want to deliver on some key initiatives for our customers and help to accelerate their journey into the cloud using some of the solutions that our teams have developed and architected.
I want to piggyback. If you don't mind, a little on this, because the learn and be curious is something huge, and this goes back to the first question that was asked, like, what can entry level folks do to help get a job? And that's like such a tough thing to answer. It is challenging for so many people, right? Super competitive. But I always go back to the learn and be curious. It's like demonstrating even without having, your first job you had to put on a resume. It's taking that ownership to go in and learning something and then developing something, especially in the tech world. You built an app, a simple app that does X. And the way to market is build something that will be relevant to the company you're actually trying to get a job with, versus just saying I built an app and then try to spread it anywhere, versus something more focused, and that would actually increase your chances. I've spoken to a lot of folks that were in their first years, like, how did you land your first job? I asked that question because I want to see what they did, and I could tell you that a majority of the folks that I personally spoke to said that I've built something that was relevant to that company, and they saw me as someone that they can help grow because they understood our mission. So that's just one little piece of advice from a recruiting standpoint. So.
I also love how this has just organically gotten to our leadership principles. And I wonder if there are any of the leadership principles that might have been a little bit harder for you to understand and adapt in your first year.
Yeah, I'll take that one if you want me to jump in on there. The conversation around just having a backbone, disagreeing and committing. That was one thing that I love about Amazon is that you're expected to do that. But I always thought of myself as the new guy. Then I was actually lucky enough to talk to one of the providers on my team, and she told me just very, very candidly, she's like, you're the new guy till you're not. And being able to work on a team where you get that type of feedback, you get to improve with everyone, work across different work streams, bring in the best that everyone on our team's doing for their customers. I mean, it's just fantastic to be a part of.
Excellent. Kevin, any other questions in the chat?
Yeah, there was one final question, and maybe we could do it a little rapid fire. It's pretty basic. What's your favorite thing about working at AWS?
Let's go.
You want to go professional? Me do.
I can go. My favorite thing about working at AWS is the opportunity that I have to always learn new things, as well as dive into other areas that may not be primarily related to my role.
Yeah, I like the people. I mean, it's just amazing. Every day I get to meet some of the most incredibly talented people across the entire world, and it's just a fun thing to be a part of. And everybody's focused on one piece, and that's how can we help others? It's a pretty cool place to be.
For me, it's, of course, the people, because I'm a people geek, but additionally, culturally, just the chance to experiment has been really rewarding for me.
Awesome. Kevin, what about you?
I think it's getting the chance to do stuff like this, kind of you get out of your comfort zone a lot, which allows you to grow and learn to be curious and just expand as a person and employee and, grow. That's the best part. It's growing.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. Same thing here. This is an example of what I love. It's the people, but the people that help me put this together, see the same vision, and help build this platform. And hopefully, this is a platform that we can help, the whole TA org and all the businesses that we support. Just showcase incredible people that work here. So with that said, I think Kevin had dropped a link, a survey link, a very simple survey. Would love to get your feedback. This was our first show. I'm sure there were kinks, things that we can iron out and whatnot. But we will be here every Tuesday, same time, which is 11:30 a.m. Pacific till 12 p.m. And looking forward to just continuing the conversations and introducing you to incredible folks. The month of February, we are dedicating this to the Federal Nonprofit Health Org. In March will be a different organization, and so on and so forth. And then we'll take the learnings from this month and next month, and then help use that data to help evolve this show to what it may be 6 months from now. So
we need your data. So
yeah.
please do our survey. And also, Kevin, if you can put into the chat our email. We have a Becoming Awesome email, so we will be sure to read anything that you may want to additionally add outside of the survey. Questions, requests, anything.
Awesome. Excellent. So we have just a few seconds left. Thank you Rupesh, and thank you, Blake, for joining. Thank you, Kevin, for moderating. And Jenna and I are signing off, and we'll see you again next week. Have a great
Thank you
one.
so much.
Thanks, everyone.
Have a good day.